What's up, Warriors fans? It's your main man, Max, here with Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as I do post new Warriors content daily. Now, it's been an interesting 24 hours for Dub Nation, not so much because of what the Warriors have done, but what has been going on around the league. And the biggest news we all saw was the Blazers finally got sold. And the one thing that we know when a team is sold, especially to a new owner, is they love to clear house. Now, we look at the Blazers right now. They're full of a ton of contracts and a ton of players. And let's be honest, they're all on the trade block. I don't know. Some of them are more tradable than others, but the only guy that's guaranteed to be there through next season right now is Dame Lillard, just because he's such a cornerstone of the franchise and he's a real stalwart. He's going to be the guy that gets them to that next stage of the franchise under new ownership. And I'm sure that new ownership, I believe his name's Tom Dundon, is going to love Dame Lillard because of his loyalty to the franchise as well as his overall play with the franchise in the past. Now, you may be asking, okay, what does this have to do with the Warriors? The Blazers, they're not a playoff team. They're not a challenger to the Warriors at any time. They're not even coming close to a playoff contender in the next 3 years. Now, that's where the key is. They're not going anywhere, which means they're in full sell-off mode, which allows the Warriors to go in and maybe get some bargain deals for some good players. Now, we look at some of the players that they have. They've got Donovan Clingan. They've got Shaedon Sharpe. They've got Jeremy Grant. They've got Scoot Henderson. Not a fan of him. They've got Drew Holiday, as well as a number of other players. Now, I would say another guy that they're not going to trade is Hanson Yang or Yang Hansen, however you want to say his name. I like to say it I guess the Chinese way, but him and Dame Lillard are not on the trade block, but it allows the Warriors to go in and get something and maybe find some solutions to the roster problems that they have. The Warriors are too small right now. They may be able to get some bigger players for a huge discount because, you know what, the Blazers are looking for near-term first-round picks as well as more manageable contracts. You look at what they have. They have Drew Holiday on a bad contract. They got Jeremy Grant on a bad contract. So they're going to be looking to move them. Now, the biggest prize I can see with the Blazers is really Donovan Clingan. And for Donovan Clingan, that's going to revolve around a Jonathan Kuminga trade. Now, a Kuminga trade is probably going to involve multiple pieces and multiple players if he goes to the Blazers. But for the Blazers' benefit, he's going to really give them a young guy in a short-term deal who actually has real playoff experience and championship experience. We look at this roster for the Blazers right now. Outside of, say, Jeremy Grant, Dame Lillard, who's injured all next year, and Drew Holiday, who doesn't fit the roster, there's really nobody that has any real experience, and you're just on a long path to nowhere with the players that they have. So I could definitely see them getting like Donovan Clingan and maybe Shaedon Sharpe in exchange for Kuminga. We'll probably have to throw in a first-round pick as well. But if the Warriors get Clingan and Shaedon Sharpe for Kuminga, and say you only have to trade your first-round pick next year, and it could be protected because the Blazers know that, you know what, the Warriors are going to make the playoffs. If it's lottery protected, it's not really going to matter. And even if there is lottery protection, maybe the next year it's unprotected. So adding a first-round pick to get two guys like that are also young and can add to the roster both long-term, especially with Clingan, who's 7'2", and played on two title championship teams in college with UConn. I think that's very, very big because he's a guy that can really just get physical with the likes of Rudy Gobert, Joker, Isaiah Hartenstein, as well as Chet Holmgren, Steven Adams, Domantas Sabonis should Russell Westbrook sign with the Kings and create a problem for the Warriors, and just all those big men that they're going to have to face in the West. So that solves that major issue. And on top of that, it sort of bridges the gap past the Steph Curry years as well. Now, do I think this is going to be the deal? Maybe, maybe not. But as I said before, The Warriors need to trade Jonathan Kuminga, and with new ownership always comes with cleaning house. Now, I don't even know if the Blazers are going to keep Chauncey Billups, the coach, but I'd say it's more likely than not. But it wouldn't be the first time that an owner fired a coach with multiple years left on his contract. We saw what happened with Monty Williams when they decided to clear house with new management. We saw what happened with Tom Thibodeau, just signs his new contract, and then James Dolan and Leon Rose realized this isn't the guy that takes us to the next level. So it wouldn't be that much of a surprise to see that happen, but I just do see the Blazers cleaning house and just getting everybody except for Dame and Hanson Yang out of there. Because, as I said, they're on the long road to nowhere. And if you have new ownership, you want to set the tone for what the culture is going to be. And cleaning house, even if you get very little in return for bargain, as long as you get those draft picks, it doesn't really matter. Now, say the Warriors don't really find a way to pull off a Jonathan Kuminga deal. There's always the backup plan. And for me, the backup plan is Robert Williams. Now, Robert Williams, we know he has championship experience with the Celtics. He played well against the Dubs when they won in 22 in that good series, but he just really couldn't get it past what they were doing with Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. But I believe you bring him in as a backup plan, say they don't trade Kuminga to the Blazers, you have at least a good backup center to go along with Al Horford whenever he decides to sign after the Kuminga deal is taken care of. Now, I don't like the fact that Williams is a smaller center because, as I've said before, smaller centers aren't going to get the job done in the modern NBA. It's going to give you trouble against the players like, as I said, Gobert, Hartenstein, Joker, even DeAndre Ayton, Domantas Sabonis, all those guys. It's going to give you trouble, but he is very physical compared to those guys and can match up well. But there's also another big problem that the Warriors are facing, and that's, what, they bring him in. He has a bit of an injury history, so I'm a little hesitant to see that happen. But the cost is not going to be that much. I believe overall costs may be just Buddy Hield and I believe some throwaway player that they could just put into the deal, or maybe even just Moses Moody. Now with Moody for Robert Williams, all right, that's not bad. Williams is on a shorter term deal. I think it is expiring this year. I'm not 100% sure, so that does play into the Warriors' favor. And it also clears a roster spot for the Warriors to sign a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, bring in Seth Curry, or even DeAnthony Melton, though I still am not too keen on DeAnthony Melton because of that ACL injury that he suffered last year. And it's just do you really want to, regardless of the comebacks of modern medicine, do you really want a guy on your roster that's coming back from that big of an injury? Can he really contribute to a championship run? In my mind, he can't. So I'm not a fan of Melton, but that's another story. But bringing in Williams for Moses Moody or Buddy Hield is at least a step in the right direction. And it allows the Warriors to make another move outside of Kuminga and not have things be held up so bad. And maybe on top of that, Williams, he becomes the starting center and gives more minutes and allows the likes of Al Horford to get that rest where he can play his full self anytime he is on the court, which is something that the Warriors are desperately going to need, especially if he's going to be playing heavy minutes at 39 years old. And by that, I mean Horford. So that's a good thing. But I'm still not entirely sold, but it's still a good backup plan. I mean, maybe there are other players I'm not thinking of right now for the Blazers that the Warriors could trade for the likes of Hield or Moses Moody or even Pods. But it's not really coming to me right now. I'll think more on it. Now, bottom line is the Warriors do need to reach out to the Blazers. Now that the sale has been done, but it hasn't been voted on, we know where they're going. And you got to reach out, get some feelers from the team and say, hey, are you standing pat? Are you just Are you open for business? Are you trying to make some moves? Are you interested in Kuminga? You want to move off some players that aren't on long-term bad deals? Do you want to like revamp, or would you like more draft picks? And once the Warriors feel that out, they could see how they can get those bargain basement deals from the Blazers in exchange for future first round picks or just future picks in general. Because, like I said before, new ownership loves to clean house. They like to do it their way, set the tone moving forward. And the only guys they really want on their roster right now are Dame Lillard and Hanson Yang, and that's it. They have draft picks in the future, especially from the Milwaukee trade, as well as the Celtics trade, since they didn't give up 2 second-round picks to move Anthony Simmons. So they have a lot to work with, and they have a lot to build their team. They're looking to collect assets, and for them, assets are going to be future draft picks, whether that be in 26, 27, 28, 29, or even 30, way down the road. They want those future assets in order to build their team the right way. Everybody sees Oklahoma City as the model way to do it, and that's how they got to look at it. Maybe if it's the Blazers, they get rid of some contracts, get some expiring contracts, and see what they can do there. As the saying goes, the only way to build a true championship contender is to tear everything down and start from scratch. Now, that's all I have to say today for Warriors Latest. As always, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like what you heard today. And if you have a better trade idea, should the Blazers decide to clean house once the ownership approval goes through with the Board of Governors, feel free to comment below. And as always, go Dubs.